Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope everyone is in good health. Now here we are discussing about the matter, changes of matter we are discussing. Now here already we discussed that matter is made up of very tiny particles called molecules. What is called? Molecules. Very tiny particles are called molecules. Now here you see this, we see this picture. You are seeing this. This is ice. It is in which form? It is in which form? It is in solid form. Ice is in solid state. Ice is in solid state. Ice is in solid state, isn't it? So now here, do you know? Do you know? Water boils at? Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, isn't it? And water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. I think everyone knows. Freezes, the water changes into solid state, that is ice. Okay, so ice is in solid state. It exists in solid state. Ice is made up of molecules. Ice is made up of molecules. So here, see, what do you think will happen to an ice cube if you keep it outside for a long time? What happens if you keep the ice for too long? For a long time. What happens? Or ice cream. Ice cream also. When you keep the ice cream in open for a long time, what happens? It melts, isn't it? It melts. Both ice cubes and the ice cream will be melt when you keep it outside for a long time, isn't it? So, here, when your mother boils the water, what happens? Just think about when the mother is boiling the water in the vessel. Mother is boiling the water on the stove. The water starts boiling, the smoke comes out from the water. The smoke comes out from the water. Isn't it? When you boil the water, the smoke comes out. So here, what you understand by this is, when you keep the ice in the open, it changes into water. When you heat the water, it changes into gaseous form, that is water vapor. That is water vapor. So, ice is in solid state, water is in liquid state, and water vapor is in gaseous state. And water vapor is in gaseous state. Okay? So, matter may change from one state into other state on cooling and on heating. Here, ice changes into water. That is on heating. Water changes into water vapor on heating. The water vapor changes into water on cooling. And water is on further cooling, changes into ice. You are seeing this is the interchangeable state of matter. Changing state of matter. What do you call it? Changing state of matter. Changing state of matter. Changing state of matter. One state of matter changes into another state on heating or on cooling. On heating or cooling. So here see, ice is the solid form of water. Ice is the solid form of water. Ice is the solid form of water. It exists in solid state. When the ice cubes kept outside, what happens? It melts. It melts and changes into water. And changes into water. Solid changes into water. That is ice. Changes into water. changes into water. melting. Ice changes into water. It is called melting. This process is called melting. Ice changes into water is called melting, and water on heating changes into water vapor. What do you call it? Evaporation. What do you call it? Evaporation. When the water changes into water vapor or steam on heating, water changes into water vapor or gaseous state. Water vapor on heating is called evaporation. What do you call it? Evaporation is called evaporation. Is called evaporation. Ice changes into water is called melting. What do you call it? Melting. Ice is the solid form of water. When the ice cubes is kept outside, it melts. It is called melting. Water vapor on heat. We have water on heating changes into water vapor is called evaporation. What do you call it? Evaporation. Now the water vapor cools down. The water vapors on cooling, what happens? On cooling changes into liquid state. Changes into liquid state, that is water. Changes into liquid state on cooling is called condensation. This process is called condensation. So here see, ice melts on cooling. Ice melts when you keep it outside for a long time. This melting of ice into water is called melting. And here, what is this? Evaporation. Water changes into water vapor on heating is called evaporation. The water vapor on cooling and changes into water is called condensation. What do you call it? Condensation. That is liquid form of water. That is liquid form of water. It is called condensation. So, water exists in all the three states. Water exists in all the three states. Water exists in all the three states. Isn't it? It changes from one state to another state on heating or cooling. On heating or cooling. Isn't it? On heating or cooling. So here thus solid on heating changes into liquid. Solids on heating changes into liquid, that is water. Liquids on heating changes into water vapor, that is gas. Gas on cooling changes into liquid again. Isn't it? Liquid on cooling changes into ice, solid. On further cooling changes into ice again. Isn't it? Change of state can easily observe. Here, even you can observe these changes in butter and wax also. Butter and wax also you can observe these changes. Okay children? So here matter, water exists in all the three states, and the changing states of matter, one state of matter changes into other state of matter. Here we are seeing that ice on keeping for more time changes into water, that is liquid state. Water on heating changes into water vapor. This process is called evaporation. Change of water into water vapor due to heating is called evaporation. Now water vapor on cooling changes into liquid state. Isn't it? On cooling changes into liquid state, that is water. This process is called condensation. On further cooling, again you are getting the ice. Again you are getting ice. Okay children, thank you. Have a nice day.